It was a cold December morning in 1917. The people of Halifax, Nova Scotia were just beginning their day. Children walking to school, workers heading to the docks, mothers tending to their homes. But within moments their world would be turned to fire, shattered glass, and unimaginable destruction. The Halifax Explosion was the largest man-made blast before the atomic bomb, a tragedy that killed thousands, reduced a city to ruins and left scars that would last for generations. This is the story of that fateful day. During World War I, Halifax was a city at the heart of the war effort. Its harbor was one of the busiest in North America, a crucial gateway for supplies and soldiers heading to Europe. Massive convoys gathered here, guarded against German U-boats that lurked in the Atlantic. But with so many ships coming and going, the waters of Halifax Harbor were a dangerous ballet of steel and steam, and in that chaos, a single mistake would lead to disaster. On the morning of December 6, 1917, two ships found themselves on a deadly collision course. The Mont-Blanc, a French vessel, carried one of the most volatile cargoes imaginable, 2,925 tons of explosives, including highly flammable benzol, picric acid, and TNT. The ship was a floating bomb. The Emo, a Norwegian relief ship, was trying to leave the harbor, but it was traveling too fast and in the wrong lane. Despite desperate attempts to avoid a crash, at 8:45 a.m. the two ships collided. At first, it seemed like a minor accident, but aboard the Mont-Blanc, the spilled benzol ignited, and fire raced across the deck. The crew, knowing what was about to happen, abandoned ship immediately, rowing desperately for shore as the flaming vessel drifted toward the city. But no one in Halifax knew the horror that was coming. Instead, people gathered at the waterfront watching the burning ship, unaware that within minutes, it would obliterate everything in sight. At 9:04 a.m. the Mont-Blanc erupted in the largest non-nuclear explosion the world had ever seen. The blast was equivalent to 2.9 kilotons of TNT, more powerful than some of the bombs dropped in World War II. A massive fireball tore into the sky, followed by a shockwave traveling faster than sound. Buildings disintegrated in an instant. People standing near windows were cut to ribbons by flying glass. Entire families were vaporized. The harbor's water was blasted away, exposing the ocean floor for a moment before a towering wave surged back, flooding the ruins. And then, the fire. Wooden houses ignited instantly, and a massive inferno swept through the city. The north end of Halifax was gone. Over 12,000 buildings destroyed or damaged, leaving 25,000 people homeless in the freezing Canadian winter. As the smoke cleared, the full horror of the disaster became apparent. Over 1,800 people were dead, and 9,000 more were injured, many horribly burned or blinded. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Survivors staggered through the ruins, searching for loved ones who were buried beneath the rubble. One of the most tragic cases was Richmond School, where dozens of children had been watching the fire when the explosion struck. The building was obliterated. Not a single child survived. Aid poured in from across Canada and the United States. Boston was the first to respond, sending trains loaded with doctors, nurses, and supplies. Even today, Halifax sends Boston a Christmas tree every year as a gesture of eternal gratitude. The Halifax explosion was one of the deadliest disasters in Canadian history, but it was also a moment that changed the world. Maritime safety regulations changed forever. After Halifax, shipping laws were rewritten to prevent another catastrophe. Ports around the world adopted stricter traffic controls and safety measures for transporting explosives. Disaster response and trauma medicine advanced. The explosion pushed Canada to develop better emergency response systems. Doctors learned new ways to treat burns, amputations, and eye injuries, lessons that saved lives in both world wars. Halifax rebuilt, stronger than before. Though devastated, Halifax rose from the ashes. The city was rebuilt with modern infrastructure and became a global center for naval operations. Today, Halifax remembers its darkest hour, not just as a tragedy, but as a lesson. The voices of the lost still echo in the waves of its harbor, reminding us of the cost of war, the power of human resilience, and the importance of vigilance in an uncertain world. What do you think? Could this disaster have been prevented? How should we honor the victims? Let us know in the comments, share, and subscribe for more untold stories of history.